Hello everybody and welcome to the latest episode of My Life with Asperger's. My name is Mike Demaro and today's topic is about aloneness, isolation, solitude, seclusion, the feeling of being alone. Now, I live alone. I have lived alone for the past 2 years. And living alone or being alone at times can be upsetting for me, but it can be happy for me too. Like, for example, if I take road trips, I feel comfortable enough driving alone because I can listen to the music I want to, or the news that I want to, or the radio station that I want to, and I can take the roads that I want to, and you know what I mean? So pretty much that's the benefit of being alone, is you can drive when I drive by myself, I can basically do whatever I want to on the road and take whichever way, and I don't have to worry about being there. Well, I'll have to be there in a time limit if I have to, but sometimes, most of the times, whatever, I can just go and be there whenever I get there, you know? But let me just say this. Being alone is not fun. Most aspies, most autistic people feel like they're alone. But let me just say this. If you go out and meet some new friends and get out of the house once in a while, you'll be fine. It's just when you are alone that it doesn't seem right. You know what I mean? So, being alone is not good. And I can tell you that being alone is not a good feeling. Let me just say this. When I go out to eat and I eat alone, I don't feel comfortable. Most of the time I'm going on my phone, looking up Facebook, looking at my emails on my phone, and I'd rather be spending time with somebody else when I go out to eat, not going out by myself. You know, you see what I mean? And then when I go to like sporting events or other events that I create or help pass along, it seems like I'm paying for myself here, or it seems like I'm sitting by myself because nobody cares about me, it seems like. Like, I tried to do the baseball game in a couple of weeks. Of course, Autism Speaks is putting on the baseball night, and the Rays are doing it too. And they're doing a baseball thing, and I had some people that were interested, but yet it seems like I'm going to be the only one that's going to buy tickets for our group. It seems like everybody wants me to sit by myself, you know what I mean? They don't want me to sit alone, you know what I mean? Sorry about turning on the light and off the light, but I just had a darkness feeling, and, well, not a darkness feeling, but it was dark in the background, and so I had to turn on the light, and then the sun came out again, so I had to turn off the light. But, back on topic, I don't feel comfortable being alone at times because, you know, what is there to talk about? Who are you talking about with? People think if you're talking to yourself, it's like, you know, if people see you talking, they're going to think, who are you talking to? You know? I don't like being alone. It's not fun. You know what I mean? I hate being alone. But understand this. Even though there are benefits of being alone, I don't like being alone. You know, I do treat everybody with respect and all that, but, you know, being alone can be rough on me. You know, coming up with this topic to do the video, you know, we watched the video the other night called wretches and jabberers. And after the video, like one of the people that work at the local autism center there, they asked, does anybody feel isolated? And I said, yes, I do feel isolated. You know, because I feel isolated because I feel like when I try to plan events or something, nobody wants to go with me. Or nobody likes the same things I like, you know? It feels I'm isolated from them because they don't want to do the things I want to do, and, you know, or I plan, or I don't feel comfortable going to their events too, you know? I'm missing out on a thing today because I was a little upset and all that over what was going on, and I just don't want to travel an hour to the event, sit around, talk like for 2 or 3 hours, and then drive an hour back home. I don't want to do that, you know? I just don't feel comfortable with that. I do love being around people. Let me just say that. But if I feel frustrated, if I feel upset, I just want to be alone. Or if I feel angry, I do want to say what I feel, but most of the time it's not appropriate to say it. So I feel alone. I feel that body pressure builds up when I'm alone. I feel depressed when I'm alone. I feel like eating more when I'm alone. You know? It's hard for us as aspies to be with company sometimes because you don't know what to say. You don't know the right thing to say. I feel that way too. Like, I want to have a romantic relationship, and I can't even say the right thing to the right girl. Or by the time I say it or want to say it, it seems like she is taken. So it's like, what the heck is going on here? Why do I feel alone? Why do I feel upset? It's hard for me to be alone when people do that to me. I don't like being alone. You know? Are you getting what I'm saying here? When I work, I enjoy being out of the house because I can talk to other people. But when I'm here home alone, or when I come home, it feels like I'm alone. You know, in the wintertime, you have all the snowbirds here, and I'm very happy when they're here because I can talk to them and have fun with them. But when it's the summertime here at my campground here, I feel alone because there's not many people here to talk to. You know? I just feel upset when I'm alone. You know, being alone is not healthy for you too. Because if you feel alone, you'll eat a lot. And you'll feel upset a lot. You'll go into depression. And that's not comfortable, you know. But I'm glad that I saw Wretches and Jabberers the other night. Because there was these 2 autistic men that traveled all over the world. And they got out of their isolation and seclusion just to go around the world and talk with other people that are on the spectrum too. I'm hoping that one of these days that I can have a documentary as well. And I can go around the country or go around the world and meet other people and meet other parents and tell them how I live my life, you know? Oh, here's the light again. I need to turn on. Yeah, but you know what I mean? I'm hoping that one of these days I'll have a documentary out there. I just wish that, you know, that people would see it. Like these videos. I wish people would see them too. Because sometimes I feel alone. When I do these videos, I feel alone because nobody wants to see them. Nobody wants to watch them. Or nobody has the time to see them. They don't care about me. You know? I do feel loved. I do feel cared about. But when I'm alone, I don't feel comfortable. Now, let me read you something here about alone. You know, solitude is another word for alone. Solitude is a state of seclusion or isolation. Example, lack of contact with people. It may stem from bad relations, deliberate choice, infectious disease, mental disorders, neurological disorders, or circumstances of employment or situation. Short-term solitude is often valued as a time when one may work, think, or rest without being disturbed. It may be desired for the sake of privacy. A distinction has been made between solitude and loneliness. In this sense, solitude is positive. Now, let me read you about something about loneliness, which the word alone comes from. Loneliness is an unpleasant feeling in which a person feels a strong sense of emptiness and solitude, resulting from inadequate levels of social relationships. Loneliness is not a subjective experience, since humans are social creatures by nature. Loneliness has also been described as social pain, a physiological mechanism meant to alert an individual of isolation and motivate him or her to seek social connections. And then common causes. People can experience loneliness for many reasons, and many life events are associated with it, like the lack of relations during childhood and adolescence, or physical absence of meaningful people around a person are a few causes of loneliness. At the same time, loneliness may be a symptom of another social or psychological problem, such as chronic depression. Many people experience loneliness for the first time when they are left alone as infants. It is also a very common, though normally temporary, consequence of breakup, divorce, or loss of any important long-term relationship. In these cases, it may stem both from the loss of a specific person and from the withdrawals of social circles caused by the events or the associated sadness. The loss of a significant person in one's life will typically initiate a grief response. In this situation, one might feel lonely even while in company of others. Loneliness may also occur after the birth of a child, after marriage, or following any other social disruptive event, such as moving from one person's hometown into an unfamiliar community, leading to homesickness. Loneliness can occur within unstable marriages or other close relationships in similar nature, in which feelings present may include anger or resentment, or in which the feeling of love cannot be given or received. Loneliness may represent a dysfunction of communication and can also result from places with low population densities in which there are comparatively few people to interact with. Loneliness can also be seen as a social phenomenon capable of spreading like a disease. Learning to cope with these changes in life patterns is essential in overcoming loneliness. A twin study found evidence that genetics account for approximately half of the measurable difference in loneliness among adults, which was similarity to the hereditability estimates found previous in children. These genes often operate in a similar manner in males and females. The studies find no common environmental contributions to adult loneliness. Enforced loneliness has been a punishment method throughout history. Alright, after reading this, there has been times when I felt alone, okay? I felt alone in 2007, right after my childhood friend and I broke up, our friendship. I felt alone then. I felt real upset. I was doing bad in school. I wasn't failing. I was passing, obviously, but I was feeling depressed and I was feeling alone. You know what caused that one? Was when I heard about the Disney College program and I wanted to come down to Florida for the first time and do that. Well, my first time moving down there, excuse me. And doing that. And I felt real happy wanting to do that because it would escape me from feeling loneliness and I would get a chance to meet new friends from all over the world. Though my parents were originally upset when I wanted to do that and they were originally against it, but in turn I did go see a psychiatrist or a therapist, and he helped me out on how to deal with roommates and all the other problems that I might have. And I felt real happy that I did that. And I felt real happy for seeing a therapist too. I say therapist, some people say psychiatrist, but I'm happy to see a therapist because I was feeling loneliness from my breakup with my friend there. And then I felt another loneliness when I had to move back up to Massachusetts for a little while to do school. I felt a little loneliness then too because I was missing Florida like crazy. Then I felt loneliness when not really loneliness. I was happy to move back down here permanently, but then I felt loneliness when the first time when all the snowbirds left. Then when the snowbirds left again this year. I felt loneliness because I was being all alone and there was going to be no one to talk to, and I just feel real upset about that. And then I feel loneliness as well when I'm around people that don't understand what I'm going through on a daily basis. They don't know that I'm an aspie. They don't know that I'm going through life with Asperger's, and it's real hard for me to tell them that I'm an aspie and how I live my life and how I go through life. I feel loneliness at work sometimes because of that. It's like they don't care about me. All they care about is the business. You know what I mean, right? But I feel upset about it sometimes because I tell them I can't work with a lot of noise. What the next thing they do? They put me upstairs. Work with all that arcade noise. Work with the busyness and the crowds. They don't care. All they care about is the business. They don't care about me and how I feel. and how I react to different situations. And that's when I feel alone, you know? I feel alone because I don't know why sometimes, you know? I don't like being alone. That's why I enjoy going out and meeting new friends and talking about my life experiences. That's why I enjoy going to the walks that I do. That's why I go to Fort Myers once a year for their walk. And that's why I go up to Daytona for their walk. That's why I go to West Palm for their walk. That's why I'm on the committee for the Tampa walk. That's why I'm on the committee for the Orlando walk. One of the reasons. Because I want to get out there and I want to meet other people that are in the same situation as I am. Even though they might be the parents of them, they can learn about me. They can learn from me. Look at the Facebook connections I made because of these walks. I met a few friends from the West Palm Beach walk. Boom, they're on my Facebook. I met a few friends from the Fort Myers walk. Boom, they're friends of mine on Facebook. I met a few friends from the Daytona walk, Volusia County. Boom, they're on my Facebook. Basically everybody that's on the Orlando committee is on my Facebook too. And then I met a few people that were on the Tampa committee. Boom, they're on my Facebook. And hopefully I can do the same thing with Jacksonville's walk in September and these coming up walks like the Fort Myers walk in October and the Volusia County walk in November and the Orlando walk in November. I'll meet new friends and add them onto my Facebook and have real connections with them, you know? I enjoy going out there and meeting new friends. I enjoy going to all these social clubs for Aspies. It's just wish I could go today, but like I said earlier, I wasn't going to drive an hour up there just to spend 2 or 3 hours talking to people and then driving back an hour home. And then I was feeling, and then I also was having issues and problems with my life too that I don't want to discuss about here, you know? But anyways, I do feel, even though I do feel alone, let me just say this. It's okay to feel alone sometimes. But if you feel alone all the time, and when people don't understand you, that's when you feel upset and being alone. You know? Because they don't care about you. Or they care about you, but they don't care about you enough. You know? But don't worry about them. Once they get to know you, and once they feel about you, and once everything's okay, you'll feel the okayness to express yourself, you know? But don't worry about it. Being alone's okay for right now, but you can't be alone all the time. Let me just tell you that. And when I was growing up, I went to all these different schools, and yet I never hung out with any of my school friends outside of school. Or it was rare that I got to. It was like most of the time they live too far away or they don't live in the same town as me. I grew up going to different schools all across the Pioneer Valley. And like my elementary school was in Ludlow, and then I spent a year in East Long Meadow, then I spent a year in West Springfield. Then I went to high school at Gateway up in Huntington. And then I went to college at Hoyle Community, and then I went to Westfield State University. And during those times, it was like during my school days, other kids lived in different towns than I did, so it was a little bit harder for me to go and see them, you know? Like, for example, I went all 4 years of high school up at Gateway Regional in Huntington, Mass. And I was on the student council and yearbook and Renaissance and prom committee and schools mascots team, and I was all over the school basically, being on all these after school activities. That it was good that I got out and meet other people at the school after school, But at the same time, it was like I never hung out with these people outside of school. It was like we lived too far away. I lived like 25 miles away from the school, so basically I couldn't really hang out with them after school. I know it was rough. I wish I had some of those connections, and I wish I knew about my Asperger's early enough so that I could have met some people that were on the spectrum and had some fun. And I could have been in a support group up in the Springfield area. I know they have one up in Amherst. And if I was diagnosed early enough, maybe my parents would join the club and let me be a member of their organization, you know. I think that was a paying one. I know I belong to some free ones. So, but yeah. But I was glad that I found some of these groups down here when I moved to Orlando. Like PALS, Night PALS, and like UCF Card, and their Aspire group. And then I was able to find Autism Speaks, and then they have the autism, or not the autism, the adult, let me read the group, Asperger's Adults Florida. You know, I was very happy to find these groups because they would help me out. And I would get to meet new friends from all over the region, all over the Central Florida region, that also are aspies and are autistic, and you know what I mean? So I'm very happy that I found these groups. But then that separates me being alone. You know, I'm not alone all the time because I'm going out with friends and all that all the time. But understand that. But anyways, here's my tip for you. And then I'll leave. Or I'll end this video. Because it's getting a little bit too long already. Go out to the community. Go out to your local city. Or town, whatever. Find out if they have a group for aspies or people on the autism spectrum for adults. Well, if you're a kid, find one for kids too. I'm just saying, for mostly, I'm talking about adults here. Go out, find a group for adults. Ask them questions. Ask them what do they do for their activities. Find out. Find out when the next time they're meeting. And find out if you have to pay anything or not. If you have to pay to belong to the group, it's worth it because you get to meet other people. But if you don't have to pay for it, that's good too because you can meet other people that way too. So, and then if you don't have money and it's a group that collects dues, sometimes they'll offer sponsorships where, like, if you can't afford the dues, then have somebody sponsor you to belong to that club, you know? Don't be afraid to ask people to sponsor you to belong to a club like that if it's going to help you out, you know? And I know they have activities once a month, and that's good, you know? But don't be afraid to go out and find these groups because they're very good, and they'll cause your aloneness to disappear. Well, not automatically, but they'll cause your aloneness to take a pause, you know? And you'll meet new friends, like I have, you know? All these clubs, plus Autism Speaks, when I do their walks, you know, I meet new friends all the time, and I'm real happy about it. So, that's my tip to you. And I hope you do find another friend. And I hope you do find a club to meet up with. Because you'll meet great friends, you know? So, I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye for now.